I want to introduce you properly because you deserve all the credit because you're dope.
Oh, we got to pause.
Sage. Are you French?
No.
Could you be? If we gave you a couple online classes, would you want to be?
Be French?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm a winner. Never give up, never surrender.
Isn't that a Celine Dion song? You don't listen to Celine Dion?
Not like
Not even
regularly.
after Titanic? Thank y'all for y'all ready?
What?
You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
Thank y'all so much for choosing to this episode of the GNWY podcast. And do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things so we can get people's stories out more effectively. And today we have none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jay Sage. Everybody, make some noise for Jay Sage, Jay Sage, Jay, the man, the Jay with the plan. Thank you for coming out, bro. This is about to be a dope episode.
Well, I'm glad one of us has a plan because
We've got to, man. Because without a plan, the vision perish. Isn't that what they say? The biblioteca.
I'm sure you're paraphrasing a bit, but yeah, I'm sure it's something like that.
Sometimes you got to. If it gets too drawn out, then people don't pay attention, you know?
Yeah.
So it's all about the clips. Speaking of clips, where do you get your cuts?
I have been going to the same. Wait, actually, I go to two different places. Face or
really?
Face or hair? Yeah. What do you,
Face or hair?
Yeah,
Let's
you
start
get
with the
one.
hair and work our way down.
Okay. So I go to Revel 8 to get my hair cut. My friend and studio partner for the last 6 years, his wife owns Revel 8, so I go there and have one of the girls do my hair.
Have you always been a mullet guy?
No, I had actually, yeah, you didn't know me whenever
I didn't. No,
I had dreads. I had dreads for 10 years.
Like all over.
Like yeah, they went a little past my knees.
Oh wow.
Dope. Yeah, I cut them.
That is dope.
I cut them 2 years ago, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that journey like? Every person that I've seen that have dreads, they're like, this is like a journey.
Yeah, it's the journey.
And it's a
like
part of their
So
life.
for mine, it was, you know,
It's dope.
Each one I had, you know, as I was growing them and I was, you know, twisting them and everything, what I would do is I'd like twist a little prayer into each one of them because it takes a long time. You got to sit there and just kind of, so it was, you know, it was a long thing, but it wasn't all a good journey. You know, 10 years of stuff. And there got to a point where there was just some negative energy in them, you know. So it was time. It was time to cut them off and start over. And yeah, so I did. It was a weird. I got out of church one day and I just felt like this is it. This is the day. So I went and I chopped them off and yeah. And then it's just, I don't know why I decided mullets weren't popular.
Got you. Yeah.
Yet again, like
Right.
I don't know. They are now. So did I make mullets popular? I probably did.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's probably all me.
Maybe. I would agree.
Yeah.
It looks pretty epic too. One of our board members, Jacob Wells, he has a mullet too, and it's luscious. I think it adds to the character of the person. So
I like them. Mine was actually significantly longer, just like last week, like way longer. And but my hair's all curly, so it didn't seem much longer. She cut 2 inches off last week. It's crazy.
2 inches.
2 inches. Yeah, she got 2 inches off.
Wow. So that was tickle in the middle of.
Yeah,
your
well,
back,
because
at
I've been
least.
growing. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it. I've been growing this little Jedi braid.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
like
cool.
that's why I was letting it grow real long.
Yeah. You like Star Wars?
Yeah, of course I love Star Wars.
Well, I didn't know if that was enough.
Do you like Star Wars?
I think it's all right.
Okay, this interview's over.
Sorry. My family likes it pretty hardcore. I just
You like Star Trek?
No, I never really watched it
All right.
like all the way through.
I mean, it's good too.
Is
it's
it?
just no Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars, right? No. Right. I just feel like the storytelling was a little slow to get there. You know, it's like one of those things.
Star Trek is more like based in real science, and Star Wars is just cool. So
okay,
yeah,
I believe it. It seems more like the mainstream side of cool back in the 70s. Did it come out of the 70s?
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it. They're doing a lot of drugs.
Star Trek. Star Trek's actually pretty cool because, like a lot of the things that they envisioned on the show, like has led to real creation, like inventions and things. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Okay. So it sounds like you're vouching for Star Trek more than Star Wars.
No, I just think that that's like what's really cool about it. Is like there's not like too much you can take from Star Wars and be like, let's create that in real life,
like lightsabers,
it's space magic. Like
right. Yeah, that makes sense. Who's your favorite character from Star Wars?
From Star Wars?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't know. I definitely like. There's a man, you put me on the spot. See,
I feel like that's a hard.
I said at the very beginning, this don't ask me questions, made me look stupid.
No, that wasn't no, that's not what this whole thing was.
No, I'm messing with you. There's a I like there's a bounty hunter I like. That's pretty cool. It's my mind is totally blanking right now though, which is what's funny is because he's supposed to be my favorite character and I can't think of his name.
No, that's okay.
So,
when it first came out, I really liked Jar Jar Binks.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a mullet with his ears. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Are you still thinking of your character?
Huh?
Are you still thinking of your character?
I mean,
because I can move on for sure.
Yes, so yeah, we can cut this whole segment.
That's incredible. No, man. So for the people who do not know Jay, man, give us a 30-second elevator pitch of what you do and who you are.
What I do and who I am. What I do and who I am. Well, I was not prepared for any of this. What I do and who I am. Taylor, what do I do and who am I?
I believe you're an artist.
Oh, man, I don't know about that.
You seem pretty artistic.
I'm artistic. I don't know if that's what I do.
You're a creator.
You create things, yeah.
You know, I think that you gotta earn that title of artist. You know, maybe I have. It's kind of one of those things. You know, you spend your early years just kind of, you know, trying to make it, and everywhere you go, everyone you meet is an artist. You know,
right.
Yeah, no, I do. I do paintings. I do paintings, or I create music. You know, but I also, you know, tend bar on the weekends or something. You know,
right.
Like you don't meet a surgeon who's like, oh yeah, I'm totally a surgeon, and then I sling coffee, you know, every morning. I feel like you gotta kind of earn that title. So yeah, so okay, maybe I'm an artist. You know, I get to do this for a living full time. I'm very fortunate, very blessed to have done that. I don't know if that's really what I do. I don't just do art. I think what I do is just tell stories. And, you know, who I am is to be determined.
Yeah. I feel you. What? So I've seen your art and it's amazing. So, I think that you are an artist. So keep it rocking, man. Cause
Thank you.
You are dope. So for the people who don't know what kind of art that you do, can you give us like an audibly like descriptive type vibe of what? Cause you do like shotgun powder like art, right?
Yeah. So I use gunpowder.
Okay.
And that's Well, I'll give you a quick backstory of kind
Yeah.
of like why I use gunpowder.
Yes.
Little history of it. Very condensed. So gunpowder was initially discovered, invented, what have you, by Chinese alchemists, and they were searching for an elixir of immortality. Is what they were trying to create. It's supposed to be ingested.
The powder?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were searching for this, elixir of immortality as medicine. Obviously, it wasn't too long before they discovered its destructive properties.
Right.
And little side note, fun fact: fireworks were first a weapon before they were celebratory. They were used to propel arrows further and then explode.
Right.
So
Wow.
I like to think that I take this material that is used, to destroy, and instead use it to create. That's pretty on the nose. So more than that, I'd like to think that I take it back to its initial purpose, of healing.
Yeah.
And in a way, helping me to live, me and the stories that I tell.
That's dope.
To live forever.
Yeah.
So
That's beautiful, man. So how did you even come across the idea of using gunpowder in your painting?
well, that's a longer story.
Yes.
Everything that I use is kind of a Bob Ross-esque happy accident.
Yeah.
I started out traditional painter, like most artists do. I was an oil painter, and it was, oil's very controlled, very tight. And I did a watercolor workshop that is totally the opposite of oil. It's loose and it's free flowing.
Right.
You can't really control it. You just kind of have to guide it. It's more like a dance, and I hated it.
For
So
real?
yeah, I hated it. It was just, I took it because I knew that I was tight and controlling, not just in my, my oil painting, but kind of in my life. And I wanted to kind of learn to just let go a bit.
Yeah.
So I thought that would help. And it didn't. It just really angered me. I was young. I was young. I had anger issues. And so I was working on this particular piece, a portrait. I was trying to paint the eye. I love painting eyes. You get a lot of emotion out of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on this eye. And with oil, you can just do layers, blend.
Right.
With watercolor, the more you kind of work into it, the more muddy it can get. And so I was getting to a point where it was starting to muddy up, and there was really no coming back from it. And I'd already spent so much time on this piece, and so I was getting pretty angry. So I, at the time, my studio was just like my garage, so there was a torch, like my propane torch right next to me. And so I did what, every normal, sane, rational thinking person would do.
Yeah.
And I grabbed that torch and I lit it on fire and I threw it across the room.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah.
Of course.
And when I decided to walk over there and put out the fire and I throw it away, the way it had landed, it landed like right side up and it was leaning against the wall. And it was, it was still really wet from the water and everything. So it was like dripping down the face, like the mascara was running, like she was crying. And there was that emotion that I was looking for, or not intentionally, but there it was. And I thought, it's perfect. So I put out all the fire, and from that point forward, I started using my torch because I liked the kind of what it did to the piece, So I started teaching myself to use my propane torch like a brush, the flame, like a brush, and paint with it. And so I created like a whole series of fire and water, like kind of did a whole thing.
Wow.
And that, through researching fire and flames and things like that, it kind of inevitably led me to Googling gunpowder, which, quick plug for Google, I think you should Google everything always. I think it is just one of the, it's such a cool tool that has been given us at this, what a cool time to be alive that you can just, there it is, there's Google. So many people are afraid to ask questions. I mean, that's just stupid. Ask questions, Google everything. What's going to happen?
It's
One of two things is going to happen. You're either going to find the answer you're looking for, or you're going to learn to ask better questions.
Oh, wow.
So Google everything.
That's good.
So I was Googling. It's worth a Google. And I came across gunpowder, just kind of like, I was like, oh, that's cool. And the more I looked into it is when I kind of discovered how it was created and all the things I just told you. And so I became a little more fascinated with it. And, when in Rome or Oklahoma, it's real easy to get. And so I got my hands on a little bit of it. And, the first time I ever used it, it was just a little bit. And I was like, is pretty intimidating. You don't really go to school for it. Like, can't really Google that. No one's teaching you how to do that. So that was something I had to teach myself. And it was a process. I learned definitely what not to do. I definitely.
I was about to ask if they backfired on you, but then that would have been a good pun, huh?
I definitely I've had second and third degree burns on my feet and legs. I've burned these hairs on my arms so many times.
They still look good.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at growing them back for some reason. Can't grow this to save my life, but this.
Right.
But I've singed these before. When I had the dreads, I've singed the tips of those quite a bit. But I discovered that if you burn sulfur by itself, it's not mustard gas, but it's pretty darn close. It's pretty rough, which is a interesting discovery because sulfur is used in gunpowder. It's like part of one of the ingredients. So I was like, I'll just burn it by itself. It's get this yellow color and get something cool. No, it just kind of like melts through the thing and creates this yellow smoke gas that chokes you in.
You just have a smoke
makes your eyes water. It's pretty rough. I still use it, but now I know how to use it. So so that's how I started using the gunpowder. And then implementing other things throughout, like you've seen, I've used like the tar, stuff like that. A couple years ago, I had a studio that burned down, and when it burned down, anything that survived was just covered in tar and smoke, and so it was real expensive to replace a lot of materials, but it's real cheap to go down to Home Depot and buy a big tub of tar for $30. I think it'll last me till I die. And then I just kind of played with it and ran with it. And it's like, oh, these pieces are covered in tar. Let's just add more tar and see what we can do. And so now I paint with tar, and it's really wild. And again, Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, and it's alchemy, which I love. Like every time I work with a implement or introduce a new thing into my work, I got to figure out how it's going to react with the fire, with the gunpowder, and all that stuff. Tar is pretty flammable in the right situations. But like here I am. This is created by alchemists, and now I'm here
creating your
playing with alchemy. It's just it's a cool thing.
That is wild, man. So like even in your piece, like you're saying that you're painting with these objects. Like how are you using it? Like is it for shading, or is it just like a little bit here and there, or is it like all throughout the painting?
Yes.
Perfect.
It depends on if I'm doing a performance piece or if I'm just like creating a commission in the studio. With a performance piece, most of it is it's one of two things depending on the piece I'm creating. It's either all gunpowder, quick and done, or I'll go in and I'll create the piece first, and then I'll just kind of lay it out so that the performance part does mostly my background and like the hair or something like that.
Right.
That way, when I reveal it, it doesn't look like crap. Like it's finished and ready to go.
Yeah.
If I'm working in the studio, it's more in layers. Like I'll do a little bit here, lay some gunpowder and do my layers, do some burning, do some more sketching out with add some tar, more gunpowder. Like it just kind of depends on where.
Yeah.
How it moves. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's dope. So more so, like, even with the gunpowder, like, how do you say you layer it? Like, what does initially the gunpowder do within the painting? Like, as the shade, as just the color, or when you burn it? Yes. Man, I was just so interested, bro, because like that seems so wild. And like, I mean, have you heard of any other artists that?
So there's
use
one.
that?
There's one.
There's
well,
only one.
so there's more artists
Uh-huh.
that use gunpowder, at least that I've seen since I've started. I've been doing this for I think about a decade now or more, and a little bit more actually. When I started, there was one other artist, and he's a Chinese artist, and I can't quite pronounce his full name, but Kai is his name. And he's pretty famous. He's pretty huge. He mostly works abstract and public art. So like he works a lot with fireworks. So he'll do public art, firework art displays and things, or then he'll do the big explosions and create abstract work. And he's been doing it much longer. He's quite a bit older.
Okay.
And then since then, I've noticed with the rise of social media and everything, I've noticed people will kind of pop up here and there and do little gunpowder pieces with stencils or things like that. But I've never seen anybody take it to the level that I take it to. I've never seen anyone use it the way I do in full effect, create portraits and things like that.
That's
so
dope. And for the people who don't know, you just got done doing a piece for Martin Luther King, or like not for him,
not him,
right?
But
Right. It was of him.
It was of him, yes.
It's
for the Stronger Together movement.
Stronger. Okay, yeah. Nice. And how was that?
How
did they reach out to you? They're like, we want somebody that can.
No. Again, it was kind of everything's always working out for me, man. Yeah. Is another Bob Ross happy accident. It was through another thing that I did for another friend that kind of led to meeting a guy who was running the marketing and sitting down, having a meeting with him, and wasn't even supposed to be about that. And then just through kind of talking and growing, we started talking about why, the why of it all, why I create my work, and the stories that I tell, and it kind of just lined up with the vision that they were going for. And there was a whole lot to it. The initial conversation that we had was actually to do a performance piece for the event. But we didn't have enough time to get the permits through. We only had like a week, and it's kind of it's hard enough to get permits, especially when you're technically setting off a bomb at the state capitol. I
can see where the hesitation is.
It was so it was, we had all the right people working on it, but we just didn't have the time to do it. So we kind of nixed the whole performance aspect, and I just created the piece, and we unveiled it.
Right.
But the piece, it was of Martin Luther King, but it's dedicated to the 4 girls who were killed in the bombing in Birmingham.
Gotcha.
So that the whole thing is just a real cool project. At the event they did kind of a call to action for this prayer. It's like a 14-day prayer that they want people to commit to.
Right.
And then so for each day which started like 3 days ago. So each day I'm posting the prayer and I'm posting a process video of the piece. And then after 14 days at the end, which will land on the day of the Birmingham bombing.
Oh, wow.
We're going to open the piece up for auction. And it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That is dope.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It was a fun project. It was a difficult project. Yeah, the whole thing was. The whole thing was tough. I had to do it in my studio during a week where weather was like triple digits, and you've been to my studio, see those skylights, like it's just like a magnifying glass.
It's been
beaming.
hot.
Yeah, it's been beaming down on me, and during that week, the water was out at the studio, so like I didn't even have water.
Jeez.
So it was hot. It was real hot, but and I only had, like I said, I had like 7 days to get the piece done. But we got it done.
That's dope. So how long did it take you to even complete the project? Like a full 7 days?
Yeah, I pretty much was up there every day working on it a little bit, as much as I could because of how hot it was. I basically worked till my water ran out, and then and then go home.
Right.
But I tried to work nights when it was a little cooler, and yeah, it's good.
That's wild, man. Well, I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited for that auction and everything. And that, you said all that goes back to the organization.
A percentage does.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's awesome, man. And so you were just mentioning about talking to the person who got you to do it, about even the why that you do art. So what is your why behind it?
So
that's what we talk about with Generation Y, man. So that's fine.
Gotta ask about the why.
Yes, sir.
Well, so I'm a pretty firm believer that I'm a pretty firm believer that God gives us all gifts, and we got to use those gifts.
Yeah.
If you're good at something, you got to use that thing. We all have a tendency to be lazy, to procrastinate. But I think that the work that you do when you're procrastinating should probably be the work that you do for the rest of your life. And I love to create. I love to tell stories with my art and do these things, and I'm good at it. But for so long, I would just create to make money, just create whatever was aesthetically pleasing, whatever would sell. It was a version of procrastinating. I wasn't fulfilling my purpose, and I had these God-given gifts, but I wasn't using them for God, and so I had to make a shift, and that, so that's what we were kind of talking about, is like, what are the new stories that I want to tell, and so this was it was a good project to be a part of.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much that, like, Martin Luther King and Stronger Together and all that. It's a great movement. I'm all behind it. I'm all for it. But it was more than that. Like, I probably would have done the project if that was all it was. But like, because it was more than that. It was more. It was the once we started talking about the bombing, the Birmingham bombing, and this thing that happened that was, is one of the most damaging enemy attacks towards the movement, and people don't really talk about it that much. Everyone talks about, I had a dream, but not that. Yeah. No one wants to talk about 4 little girls getting killed. So once we kind of got onto that conversation, I perked up a bit, and I was a little more involved. Now that's something I wanted to be a part of, and And then, the opposition that we had that started coming at us was, I don't know, don't you think it's a little insensitive and, ironic to be creating a piece with gunpowder, for all this? And that was precisely kind of what our why was to use, this weapon and claim it as our own. And say this can't hurt us anymore. This is ours. Yeah. And so that's why the piece is dedicated. And so we're, you have and if you see the piece, the image we decided to use and the facial expression and everything, like you can't have a dream without going through the fire. And so it's kind of it just all worked together.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. Wow. Then people need to go see it. People need to go purchase it or something like. Yeah, man, that's amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
So even with like this whole, as artists, and even with Generation Y, we've got so many artists that perform and express themselves through art and everything like that. Usually they chose that art because they've been through something, And so has there been anything in your life as Jay, you know what I'm saying? Obviously you have the dreads scene, but was there anything before that, you know what I'm saying, that, caused you to go toward, expressing yourself through the arts and through the painting and through all that kind of thing, man?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of been one of those things that I've always done. I've always had that gift. Yeah. And I think most everybody is born an artist. All kids love to color and draw, and everyone's born with some bit of creativity. So yeah, everyone's born an artist, but just some of us don't grow out of it. And I don't have a sob story. This isn't like America's Got Talent or anything like that. I had, my family really supported me in that. They always said, oh man, you can be a great artist. And they always bought me art supplies and things as I grew up. And they never said like, oh, you can't do that. That's stupid. You'll never make money doing that. The world told me that. Everyone else told me, you can't be an artist. Like, do a real job. Even in my adult life, when I got married, people would ask my wife, "What's your husband do for a living?" And she'd say, "He's an artist." Okay, cool, but what's he do for money? Like, he's a good artist. I don't know how to answer that.
Let me describe it better. Good one.
Yeah. So, I got told a lot from a lot of different people that you got to either teach art or or die, and then your work becomes significant, posthumously. But my family, they always really supported me in it. Now, my family had a whole lot of other problems. But in that, they were very supportive. And so I always believed I could do it, almost to a fault. Almost, like I said, I was young, dumb, like we all are. And I definitely kind of approached the world with a, poverty mentality, kind of things are just owed to me. I deserve it. I'm good at this, so I deserve it. And it took me a long time to kind of grow up and get out of that. But yeah, I don't think, like I said, I think it's because like when you're given a gift, you need to use it for the right reasons, and I grew up believing in God, and attending church, but I was what you call an unbelieving believer. I didn't trust God to take care of things. I could do it myself, and that stemmed also from all those other problems I told you my family had, so there was a lot of growing up, taking care of myself, trusting myself, not trusting God. I can do this on my own. Yeah. And that led to trust issues in myself, trust issues with all of my relationships. Yeah. and imposter syndrome, like hardcore, like, so again, everything I created was creating it for just because. There was no deeper meaning behind it. There was no story to tell. I was just creating art so that I could make money and I could move on to the next thing. It was, make a sale, do a commission, move on to the next person.
Right.
Who am I impacting with that? I'm impacting maybe one person. Even if I were to switch over and start using my work, for the kingdom and saying good stories and doing good things, and I give you a painting, I'm impacting you and maybe your dinner guests, but that's 2x. I want to 10x my impact.
Yeah.
And so, working with projects like, the Stronger Together movement, working with you, doing these things, this is how I reach
the masses.
Yeah. This is how I use the gifts that God gave me.
Yeah.
And that's my why. So
that's dope. Yeah. No, man, for real. I think it's real, man. I mean, there's a lot of artists that'll in any type of art form, you know what I'm saying? But you put so much into your art. You put so much emotion into it, or so much anything. Even if you are, you know what I'm saying, being that kind of, imposter syndrome, to where it's, I want to please the people instead of just creating out of my emotion. In a sense, too, there's still a lot of work that goes into this piece. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of growing you as a person, regardless of what it is. It's like it's dope that, and we had some artists on the podcast a couple days ago, and we were talking about that a lot of creators are just givers, and so we like continue to just pour out, and so yeah, I mean, I could see that for you, man. Like, I mean, growing through that stage, and then now it's like the way you even came across how you create now is like unheard of. You only mentioned a couple other people, so it's like you going through this whole process of growing and evolving and becoming Jay now, and so it's like I think it's dope, and how you've been able to create and evolve into the person that you are now, man. Because you're doing something that's meaningful, and I just want to give you props, man, for real, because you're killing it. You're doing a great job. So yeah, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast, bro.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate being asked to be here.
Yeah, of course.
I've been watching the podcast for a little while now, and I was surprised. I was like, I don't know why he wants me on here.
You're doing amazing things, dude. Yeah.
All the other people have been on here. I go and I follow them, and they've got like thousands of followers and things, and I'm just some old guy who doesn't understand social media. It scares me.
Well, you're doing good at it, so I mean, yeah, you're doing amazing stuff, man, for real. So
there's that imposter syndrome again, right?
Right. Apparently, man, because us looking into you got it going on. So yeah, you're killing it. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Yeah. But if there's anything you want to tell these people, first of all, tell them where they can follow you at. Okay, and then give them one quote or something that you may live by, and how you've been able to live your life.
Okay. One quote where they can follow me.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my wife was texting.
Good.
That's rude.
She's important.
I'm not saying she was rude, but I was doing was rude. It's like, my wife was texting rude. So, all right. So you can, where they can follow me.
Yep. Where can they follow you?
And one quote.
Yes, sir.
All right. You're going to edit all this out, right? Because I look dumb.
No.
Yeah. So you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's kind of like the best place to follow me right now. I am working on a website.
Yeah.
It's not up yet, so it's not really worth plugging. But for now, Instagram, sage_art. That's where I post pretty much everything right now.
Yeah.
And where I will post when I get the website up.
Yeah.
If I have to leave everyone with one thing, it's that you're all going to die.
Beautiful.
Then they're going to throw you in a hole, toss some dirt on your face, and head back to church to eat a potato salad. The real question is, when they do all that, are you leaving behind a title or a testimony?
That turned out good. A lot better than what I thought I was when I first said it. You're all gonna die. All right.
Yeah.
No, that's good, man. That's real. I love it. So, what are you gonna leave behind? A title or a testimony?
Mm-hmm.
That was fire. Where did you come up with
Well,
this?
Pharaoh, for all of his power,
Yeah.
all he left behind was a title,
Uh-huh.
But Moses,
His brother.
that's a testimony. That's a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's something worth following.
You want to not let people go or split some seas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's dope.
It's dope. You didn't even tell people about the hat yet. We're just gonna be referencing
Everyone-
a weirdo hat.
I mean, I don't think there needs to be a reference. Everyone's heard you say dope like 1,000 times in this. Probably in
Perfect.
every podcast. They just think that
Yeah.
it's like a sculpture now for the. Let's just put it up there.
We should build your face.
I can bronze it. I got a friend that can bronze it, like make a sculpture. It's like bronze.
Are you gonna
Dope.
tell people where it came from?
You want me to tell people where this came from?
Just so for reference.
Well, yeah, we got to hit the real hard topics. This is the important thing, right?
Of course.
So we were in Nashville visiting family for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, and had to stop at a truck stop, as you do.
You have to.
And while I was in there, I found a shirt that has some pretty dope tigers on it.
Of course.
And then I had to have it. And then as I was coming out of the bathroom after changing into that tiger shirt, that as you do,
Right.
I saw this on a rack, and I had to have it because it went with the shirt.
Of course.
And so it's part of actually one of my favorite outfits. And
your wife loves it.
that's one way to say it. No, there's a reason why this was actually in my car today and not hanging on the hat rack at home. She doesn't like. She
She's
doesn't.
nervous. She might throw it away.
She doesn't like seeing it. Yeah, she's told me so many times
She
to
doesn't
get rid
like
of it.
seeing it.
Yeah.
Just
so
the side of it really
so I
burns her biscuits.
I keep it in the car and I wear it every time I go to like a fancy like business lunch or something.
You wear this at fancy businesses.
Yeah. Anywhere.
That's incredible.
Anywhere where I'm trying to be super serious and really close a deal. Yeah.
You wear dope.
Yeah. You got it.
You wear it forward or backwards?
That's my mantra. Oh, forward, of course. Little askew, just kind of off to the side, just a little bit. Yeah, but that's my mantra, man. Everything's always working out for me, and my life is dope.
That's beautiful, man. You want to just remember, your stuff is always working out for you, and you're going to die.
Yeah.
Jay, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, dog. For real. You're amazing. Follow him on anything and everything, and be sure to keep up with everything that he's got coming up, too, as well. So, and then your website, I mean, this may drop after your website drops, so just for the people, just in case.
It's trying to make it say jsageart.
jsageart.com.
Yeah.
That's it. Perfect.
Simple. Yeah.
Perfect. Follow him on anything and everything. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Generation Y podcast. We'll see you on next time. Peace.